Life Audio.
What if I could help moms, number one, overcome that stress and work with their mom brain? And number two, overcome the stress around finances as well. So what if we could do all that?
Looking to grow your faith but short on time? The Holy Reads app is your answer. With over 1,000 book summaries, daily devotionals, and more, you can find inspiration anytime, anywhere. From parenting tips to theological insights, Holy Reads has something for everyone. Want to deepen your connection with God? Holy Reads offers a wealth of resources to help you grow spiritually. From scripture-based content to soothing meditations, you can find peace and purpose in your daily life. Holy Reads is more than just an app. It's a community of faith. With 23 categories, you can find resources that speak to your heart. Join 350,000 Christians who use Holy Reads daily. Download Holy Reads today and start your spiritual journey. That's HOLYREADS. Download the app today. Hello and welcome to the Encourager Podcast, where we have encouraging conversations to help you joyfully harmonize your home and work life. I'm your host, Rebecca Scott. I'm a wife, mother, designer, coach, and author. I'm here to help encourage and empower you to confidently make decisions that work for you and your stage of life, whatever that might be. Hello, encouragers. Today's podcast is brought to you by Just Thrive Probiotics, my go-to supplement to feel more energized and lighter. I also love the Just Thrive Calm supplement to keep my thoughts from spinning and keep them more focused and in the moment. Use code Encourager to get 15% off by going to justthrive.com. On today's episode, encouragers, I've got a really awesome guest who is going to help us with something that I think I've had at periods of times in my last 18 years of motherhood, but I feel like it's on fire during certain years or certain seasons. And so the guest today is Hannah Keeley, and I am currently reading her book. I have not completely finished it, but I'm currently reading it. So welcome, Hannah, to the podcast.
I am so excited to be here, Rebecca. I cannot wait to geek out on all this stuff with you.
Okay, because we're gonna be geeking out. And the way that I always do interviews is I'm just really vulnerable and ask the questions that I think the listeners are asking, or mostly just that I am asking. So tell us a little bit about what you call mom brain or mom fatigue syndrome.
Yeah. Okay. So a little backstory. Is that cool?
Yes.
All
yes,
right.
please.
So before I started having kids, I was a behavior therapist. And of course, before you have kids, you know everything, right?
Oh, yes.
Everything. You're like, oh, I'm a pro at this. I started having kids, and a few kids in, I'm like, I am losing my poop. Like, it was, house was cluttered. We were broker than broke. Like, literally, like, how are we going to just pay our insufficient fund fees? Like that kind of broke, where lights are turned off because you can't pay electricity, and we were broke, bankruptcy, all the stuff. My house is cluttered, and I was gaining weight. And worst thing is the depression and the anxiety. And here I am, a behavior therapist. Like, what? My methods weren't working. All the education I had. So I realized, all right, something's got to give. And I basically had a nervous breakdown on the floor, carrying in a load of laundry. That's a whole story. But ask God, like, God help me. I was just like begging, God help me. And he basically said, get up and fold your laundry. And I started taking action. I started researching the mom brain. And I discovered that my brain had changed. So before you have a baby and after you have a baby, your brain literally changes. You can look at MRIs of a woman's brain, and it changes after she has a baby. There's a 4% loss in gray matter. It changes how she processes information. The priority system has changed. So no wonder nothing was working for me. All the diets, all the budgeting software, all the house decluttering things, nothing was working. So I started kind of discovering, all right, this is what works with the mom brain. This is how it's wired. And I started really geeking out on that. And I created some strategies that worked for me, really leaning into God's wisdom and the wisdom he was giving me and the research I was doing about my mom brain. All of a sudden, we're paying off debt. House is clean. I got my joy back, right? And so he told me, bring this to other moms. And so I started just doing like a little coaching call back when coaching wasn't even a thing, every single week, that led to me creating a university for moms and helping them. But as soon as I learned it's not me, it's just my brain. I didn't feel so guilty about the diets I failed and the clutter and the debt I had piled up. I was like, no wonder. Like, no wonder nothing worked for me. It wasn't designed to work for the mom brain. So everything we do and all my coaching programs, all my books, and you've noticed that, you've been reading my book, is designed. You'll notice there's little stories all through it, right?
Mm-hmm. All
That's
the monster change.
intentional because I know how your brain is wired. It needs that dopamine hit. And so everything is designed to work with the mom brain to help them now get their lives back, get out of anxiety, all the things that we want to do, but we feel stuck and we can't do it.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for the background too. Also, I forgot to say some of the background is that you're a mother of 7.
Yes, ma'am. They are all grown.
Okay. And if you guys could see her, there's no way she's a liar. That is amazing. And so it's good to have proof too, like she was, like you said, behavioral therapists, or still obviously, and raising the 7 kids and trying to manage all the things. What I've really enjoyed about reading your book is, like she said, there's a little break in there and there'll be a story and you're like, whoop, squirrel, I'm reading the story. But obviously it's written so that it doesn't feel like a squirrel. But I'm like, yes, I need a brain break and a story here. And I've told my listeners before in some of our previous podcasts that I have loved the vision board for 20 years now. But my version of a vision board sat inside my studio beside my file cabinet, and I would look at it on Friday afternoons. I was prompted to look at it from my agenda, and I'd look at it and I liked it. And that was enough. And then reading your book re-energized me to look at my vision board daily. So I moved it to my closet. And I do every night. I look at it. And you talk about in your book how frequently some of the things you say, do not paste and glue it. Do not do that. You got to do it with, what do you say, tape?
Yeah, or pins, either pins, because the goal is to get them off your vision board.
Yes, and it's not even like the word accomplish. Yes, some of them are accomplishments, but some of them are just accruing it. Like it happens.
It just comes to you.
Yes.
That's why God says, make this vision plain, put it in front of you so that even when you're running around, you will see it. What that does for your brain, Rebecca, is it opens up this thing called your reticular activating system. And for a mom, there's so much neural noise in our heads at all times that our filtering system just allows in. So if we can fine tune our filtering system to allow in what will eventually help us achieve the vision, it almost works on an unconscious level.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, It was crazy. The coolest story. I remember when we moved into the house that we're in right now. We moved from crazy, and this is a God story. I got so many stories, but we moved from like a 1,400 square foot house to a 7,000 square foot house. Only God, like in 2 weeks. Now I had put on my vision board, but the coolest thing is, and it was so far out of our reach. It was like crazy pants how this happened. But I remember going into my closet and I was unpacking stuff in the closet and I got this crazy deja vu feeling like I'd been here before. What is this? And I called my husband. I was like, hey, where's the vision board? Do you remember where you put it? He said, yeah, it's downstairs, leaning against the wall. I went down there and I pulled my vision board out. I had a picture on there of a closet that you go down, like the closet was like a hall and it jutted off to the right. And it was doors on either side that were glass doors that you opened and hung your clothes up, a thing at the end. And it was the exact same closet that was on my vision board, like down to like the number of shelves in the glass doors. And it went off to the right. And I'm like, God, what? That's just showing off now.
Yes.
That's showing off.
It's so true. And I love that you say too, it happens at a subconscious level because when I look at my vision board, you guys, it's like 10, sometimes 11, sometimes 8:30 at night, right? So it's not like I'm like, okay, I'm going to form my to-do list now that I've looked at my vision board. No, it's just soaking in the things that I want. And some of them are for my home life. Some of them are for my personal life, relationship life, work life. But I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just absorbing what I clearly want to see happen and reminding God of the desires of my heart.
Yeah. The energy of it. Like to sit in front of it and be so grateful, like so excited, almost like you're looking at the presents under the Christmas tree and you kind of secretly know what they are. And you're like, oh, I'm so excited. And that's how it just happens. I remember the vision. I would go into our neighborhood where we live now. And I would drive around in my clunky 15-passenger van that the door handles on the inside had fallen off. You had to reach out from the outside and open the door. Like it was like, I don't know if you remember the show Sanford and Son, but it was like the junk heap car. I kept it clean, but dang, that car was like, it carried us around. But I remember driving around in this neighborhood that I always wanted to live in. And I remember thanking God, thank you so much for my neighborhood. I love living here. I love living at the end of a cul-de-sac on the lake. God, you're so good. And that was like several months I had done that, like probably almost a year. And in 2 weeks, we moved into a house in the neighborhood, end of a cul-de-sac on the lake. And it's like, you know, if we just can, like the Bible calls it reconciling our mind with the mind of Christ. If we can start thinking more like God, like why limit ourselves? Why, if he's the King of Kings and we're his kids, why would we limit ourselves only if we've been trained to limit ourselves? So I had to kind of do the unlearning so that I could now operate the kingdom way.
Yeah. So that brings me to the next question too, is like, I truly believe, and the listeners know this, that we get the truth from the world in a limiting way, that we have to choose between home and work life. Like we can do one really good one day and then the next day we can do the other one, or hour by hour. And I like shuck that all away because I know you can do both, and I know you can do both with joy, and you can do them simultaneously. Yes, one may be weightier than the other, but I think that a worldly truth and limiting truth is that you have to choose. So I keep telling people, no, you do not have to choose. In your version there of like the lies that we believe from the enemy and that the world is telling us, how can we remind ourselves like the desires of our heart could just be for wisdom for that moment? It may not be for the 7,000 foot home,
right.
But it could just be like, God, I know you equipped me with these 7 children. I know you equipped me with this new job offer. How am I going to be able to do both? Do you not think that he already has the plan of how you can do both?
Yeah,
he absolutely does. So tell us a little bit about when we hear those thoughts, how we can reverse engineer like you had to start doing.
Well, we always think this or that, right? That's just our way of thinking. I have this or that. And often when I'm on interviews, they're like, well, how do you balance it all? I'm like, ew, balance. What?
Gross word. We don't use that word, do we, listeners?
No. Okay, if I'm balanced, like here I am standing in front, I don't know if you have video or not, but I'm standing here, I'm balanced. I'm not moving anywhere.
Right.
As soon as I take a step, guess what? I'm unbalanced. Okay, now I'm unbalanced. And so like, forget balance. Let's just go ahead and flush that down the toilet. And also I have a necklace that actually my clients gave me. And it's just a diamond ampersand. It's the and sign to remind me that God's covenant is this and that. And so he always wants the both and. Like, yes, he says that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I've come that you may have life in abundance to the full till it overflows, that John 10:10 life. Why would he say, oh, you can have all the abundance with your marriage, but not your money? Oh, you can have all the abundance with your money, but not your kids. Or like, what? That's not God. Why would God limit his covenant? And so I believe, now here's the thing. He also says, open wide your mouth and I will fill it. So we will only allow in our lives what we truly believe we are worthy of. And if we think we're not worthy, and if we think that homeschooling our kids is going to take away from building a business, then guess what? We will create that reality. We can't get away from it. We are creating our lives. He's blessed us. And now he says, now you go be fruitful, multiply, go replenish the earth and go subdue it. Okay, what kind of fruit are we producing? What are we multiplying? What are we replenishing the earth with? And so if we think that we're limited, I say 100%, you are.
Looking to grow your faith but short on time? The Holy Reads app is your answer. With over 1,000 book summaries, daily devotionals, and more, you can find inspiration anytime, anywhere. From parenting tips to theological insights, Holy Reads has something for everyone. Want to deepen your connection with God? Holy Reads offers a wealth of resources to help you grow spiritually. From scripture-based content to soothing meditations, you can find peace and purpose in your daily life. Holy Reads is more than just an app. It's a community of faith. With 23 categories, you can find resources that speak to your heart. Join 350,000 Christians who use Holy Reads daily. Download Holy Reads today and start your spiritual journey. That's HOLYREADS. Download the app today. It's a little bit more of not just abundance talk, because we all know that there's just like the abundance and somehow it'll appear, but it's a little bit more of the intentional thought behind it as well. And like being intentional with the gifts and the roles and the stages God give you, knowing full well you can live in this and you can thrive in this because it is a gift from me. I think that is important. Okay, let's go back to mom brain.
Yes.
Tell me more. Like, do you have like simple things that we can do to start clearing some of the mom fog?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Okay.
100%. So first of all, you have mom brain. I'm going to give you just a few symptoms. So some people, I don't know if I have mom brain or not. If you never had any like ADHD, but all of a sudden you do, that's mom brain. It's not ADHD. So you don't just develop ADHD. You don't just develop a lack of willpower. You don't just develop that. So it happens when your brain changes. And so if you're like, I can't focus, I walk in a room, I forget what I was coming in here for. My child's talking to me. I literally have not listened or understood a word they said. I need to ask them to repeat it. If you feel fatigue and you've gotten enough sleep, but you still feel like really low energy. If you see me right now, if you have a problem like staying in conversation, your brain darts around and you kind of lose track. You have to like, wait, what were we just talking about? Then you probably have mom brain. And there's a few shifts that you can make right now. And I'd love to, like, if I could just help everyone right now with something. And okay, there's 3 shifts you can make. And it's, you have to interrupt, number 1. You have to imagine, number 2. You have to implement, number 3. There's a 4th one, but we can't do that until we really have those 3 dialed in. But the first one, I think, is the most difficult because it's like anything we start, it's going to be hard to start something. So the first thing we have to do is interrupt. There's a lot of neural noise that is happening in the mom brain because your brain, before you have a child, its first priority is to keep you alive. After you have a baby, the brain's first priority is to keep your children alive. So that's why a mom has such a hard time taking care of herself. You're like, oh, don't put yourself last. Your brain is always telling you to put yourself last because now the kids are the first priority. They have to survive you. Perfect example is when your kid, like my oldest is in her 30s, like she's, in the passenger side, we're driving down the road. If I have to come to a sudden stop, what happens to your arm? Like you have to come to a sudden stop, boom, right out there, right? You have the mom arm brake. That action is saying, you will survive me. I will go through this windshield. You must survive me. So that's your brain. Like all those things that we use the metaphors like, oh, in the event of an oxygen,
yes,
whatever.
I don't like that analogy. Mm-hmm.
That is so much bull.
I know. I say that all the time. I'm like, whatever. I am giving the child the oxygen mask.
No,
yes.
You will.
So
if that was an actual emergency, you would see all these kids with masks on and moms passed out all the way down the aisle.
Yes, I totally agree.
So it's like, so our brain says, my kid must live.
Yes.
And so think about that. When this is happening, this new priority system, our filter is like a phone with all the apps open. It gets all glitchy. We can't focus. We can't load things up because now on a subconscious level, we are taking in every slightest little threat around us. And we don't even realize we're doing it. That's why we have mother's intuition. It's good. It helps us grab our kid before they run in traffic. It helps us like understand, wait, knows there's something off with them. I don't know. Or the house is too quiet. But it also works negatively because now we can't focus. We can't finish what we start. We are highly distracted. And so we have to learn how to interrupt that neural noise. And you know the noise, it's that internal dialogue. You're looking at the laundry. I should have folded that yesterday. I'm such a loser. Oh my gosh, I haven't paid those bills yet. Wow, the house is such a mess. Oh my gosh, I just realized like the tire is low. If I go out to take the kids to school, what if it blows on the road? Like we're thinking about all these things all the time because of our new programming. So we have to learn how to interrupt it. But a thought cannot interrupt a thought. You know in the Bible where it says, take every thought captive? Why do we have such a hard time doing that? Because we're trying to stay in our heads. If you stay in your head, you're dead. And so what we have to do is have some type of external trigger to interrupt the internal pattern. So when I was first learning how to make over my mom brain, I literally wore a whistle around my neck. And every time I would feel the dialogue and get tense, right? Because you know that tense, I'm not enough, I need to be doing more. I would blow the whistle as an interrupt for my brain so I could just have a window open. That was it. So first we have to learn how to interrupt that neural noise. If it's a watch that goes off every hour and you have to sit and say, okay, what is working for me? What is good right now? What am I thankful for? Something to redirect it. But that's the only way to capture that thought. But the first thing, we have to learn how to interrupt that noise.
Oh gosh, I love it. Especially the visuals here. Like I'm thinking too, the rubber band around your wrist. I love setting alarms on my phone. That's a fantastic way of like just reset. Okay. The whistle though, I do love a sound machine.
Oh my goodness. Like I'm sure the neighbors thought I was either a drill sergeant or a crazy mom. Or I mean both, right? Like who says you can't be both? Like
yes. Did you eventually we'll move to step number 2, but does step number 1 become a little bit more automatic when you've practiced it?
Yes, that's the beauty of it. Because I always tell moms, ask this question, what's really going on here? If we could pause and ask, like, what's really going on here? Am I really a loser? Am I really failing that bad? Is the house really falling apart around me? Are my kids really like messed up? Like we tell ourselves all these things and we make it true. But just say, what's really going on here? Oh, maybe it's my mom brain thinking that if it pressures me enough, I'll perform better and keep my kids alive and do a better job.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay. Yes.
It's just your brain. And when I just stayed in that spot of it's not me, it's just my brain.
My brain. Yes. It's a little bit easier to compartmentalize it as well. Like, okay, all right, I'm going to help you out now. Okay. We're good helpers.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2 is we imagine.
Okay. So as soon as you have that window open, now you've got to redirect your thoughts. So here's the deal. The mom brain has an amazing imagination. Only thing is, Rebecca, we use it to create the worst case scenarios.
Yes.
Like, who here has not imagined careening off a bridge and going into the lake? And how do I break the glass windows? That like, where did we get this from? Like, okay, I'm sinking in quicksand. How will I get my kids?
Yes. When have we ever run across quicksand? This is so funny, but we all know how to answer what to do if we were in quicksand. Don't move.
Yeah. But our brain creates all of these stories. And I remember one time my husband and I, this is embarrassing. we watched this movie. I can't believe I'm telling you this about alien abduction. Okay. We go to bed. He rolls over and goes to sleep. I am up 2:45 in the morning, sweating, devising an escape plan for all the kids and me. My husband's on his own to get out of the house when and if aliens invade. And so I'm like, all right, I'll get the baby. I'll stick the baby down my shirt. I'll tie it so the baby. Okay, I'll put the toddler on my back. I'll put the rope ladder down. I'll go first. No, the kids will go first. But then I'll catch them. Like the whole thing. I got the whole thing planned out. Like we. Are
you an Enneagram 6?
But I'm talking adrenaline, cortisol, all the things. Because I'm there. Like take me, but I gotta keep my kids safe from these aliens that are going to obviously invade my home. And it makes so much sense. We're gonna go careening off a bridge. What do I do when I'm camping and bears attack? Like all these things. But it's our brain. Remember, the priority is keep my kids alive. So that's why we imagine the worst case scenarios is we're always in prep mode. So what if we could use that imagination to create the most favorable circumstances? Like allow yourself. Here's the thing. We get so mad at ourselves when we do this and we're like, oh my God, I saw this one reel and this woman is crying. Think about if she and the kids had been on the Titanic. Like Like we're kind of, oh my God, like we're there, right? We're
Yeah.
singing, orchestra's playing. We're there in those Arctic freezing waters. So if we can create that much of a scenario with down to the details, I bet you there's somewhere in your brain you can create the most positive scenario, but you have to force it. You have to make your brain go there. And if you interrupt the neural noise, say, wait a minute, what could be going right? What could happen that would be really fun? We can spend time going in that direction. Now, all of a sudden, the cortisol levels go down, the adrenaline levels go down, the serotonin comes up, the dopamine comes up, and now our brain is in a calmer state. Now we have that peace that passes understanding. And that's what we're after. We're after that clarity and that peace, and it's not going to stay there. Don't think you're going to stay there. It's going to go back, but now you know what to do. It's like, oh, it's just my brain. I'm really not on the Titanic. I'm really not plunging into the waters off a bridge. Like
the aliens really aren't going to get me.
My aliens are not invading.
I love these side by sides. And I think it's true. Like if we can move past, because I'm also imagining physically what this does to your body when you imagine the worst case scenarios versus the physiological response when you're imagining the best case scenario, or even just the fun. It doesn't even have to be like the grandiose idea, but just like the medium one even would be a different response from your body.
Oh, absolutely. And in my prayer time, like I spend time just being thankful for moments like that. I just spend time to just get in that state and just go back over my life and think about those moments that are so special to me. And guess what? It's not moving into a 7,000 square foot house. It's those moments when we're all laughing in the car together or we're at a restaurant, like fighting over the nachos, and like these moments that God downloads, because that's what we always go back to is when we're with our family. You know, that's what, and I think we really need to refocus. This is what's important here.
Yeah.
This is the goal.
Well, I always say frequently too, we were just talking about this on the way home from youth group last night, is like, if you had to say your top 5 memories, and I was like, well, it's a short trip, so let's just do 1 or 2. And everything, the kids had really sweet ones, but they were everyday moments. They weren't vacations and stuff. They were like, well, I really like when we have this one snack after school, Mom. Like, that one?
Yeah.
You know, like, wow. And that's the calming and the I love the phrase that love is spelled Time, like the majority of the time that you're spending with them. So
yeah.
Okay. Now, step number 3 is to implement.
Okay. One reason, actually, I'll go back. Let me say this. One characteristic of the mom brain is we have to make a lot of decisions. This is also tied in with our life. So a mom's life is more, I call it routine divergent. Now, as someone with a life that's routine typical, they know when they get up, they know when they go to work or stay home, they know when they eat lunch, they know when they have a call, they know when they get out of work, they know when there's dinner time. All of those routines are very typical. A mom, it doesn't matter if you're working in the home, out of the home, every mom's a working mom. Our lives are so routine divergent. Even someone who knows when they clock in at work, they're still like, what if I get a call from the school? Or what if this is going on? Or I need to make sure like the dry cleaning is picked up. Like our routine, we live very routine divergent lives. And because of that, we have to make constant decisions, right? And so we have this thing in our brain called decision fatigue. Our brain, like it burns more glucose than any other organ in our body. And for a mom, it's like 10x rate. Because we're making so many decisions. Like, what do we do about what's on the stove right now? And then I need to go put away the laundry. And now my kid just like knocked another kid in the head with a Lego. And now the baby's diaper is leaking all over the place. Like, we're always making all these decisions. So by around 4, 5, 6, your brain's done. Like no one blows a diet at 8 a.m. with a platter of nachos.
Right. No, it's so true.
Right? We make really good decisions.
Oh, yeah.
But then, like, our brain literally just gets tired. It's burned up all its glucose. It has decision fatigue, and it can't make good decisions. So one thing I like to do with moms is implement routines, because routines help us make one less decision. And we just do simple things. Like moms want the all or nothing. We want the really big things. Like, no. You know what you're going to do for 2 weeks? Like, I'm going to challenge all of your listeners for 2 solid weeks. Don't change anything except lay out your clothes the night before.
Yes. Oh, guys, this is the 1% concept. Hannah, I talk to them all the time. I'm like, if we have decisions that are already pre-made and you do, like one of ours is 1% it, like you're just saying, like you're just laying your clothes out the night before. That's so simple, right? Mine is make your food decisions by 7:30.
Yes.
Like, or 9 a.m. Just decide what you're having so that all day long you're not like, what's for supper? What's for supper? What's for supper? What's for supper?
Yeah.
You've already
and
made
you're
that.
mad and you're tired and you're angry,
Yes.
but really your brain's just tired. And it's funny because we all experience decision fatigue differently according to our temperament.
Oh, well, tell us more about that.
Okay. All right. So I call it STAR, STAR. So there's sensors, thinkers, artists, and rulers. Now, a sensor is someone who feels more like they can walk in a room and like feel energy, and they're more like intuitive, connected with their heart. When they have decision fatigue, they'll start getting into depression. For a thinker, they start getting into mental overload, overstimulation. And a thinker is someone who's more cognitive. They like to process. They operate by logic. They're going to get overstimulated around 4, 5, 6. For an artist, that's someone who wants the stage and they love the attention and they love the fun and then all the attraction, all the dopamine. They're going to get highly distracted. They're the ones who are going to get stuck going, scrolling, right? And the rulers are people who like control. They're good at managing. They're good at like hitting up stuff and making it happen. They're going to get angry.
I don't want to admit which one I think I am, but I might be the ruler.
Of course you are. That's how you get so much done. That's how you manage things and execute it.
Oh, God.
And you're good at it. But a ruler gets angry in the evening when their brain gets tired. They go back to their temperament safety. And it feels really like that's why you're yelling at your kids. You're not mad at your kids. Your brain is tired and you're the ruler temperament.
Okay, there were other ones in there too that I was like, can we be more than one?
Yeah, actually you can.
Yeah, I could see that. And I could see, depending on what the workload for that day was, also like if it was heavy on computer and my CEO work, then I'm the ruler.
Yeah.
But if it's when I'm creating the purses and stuff, I'm like, oh, then it's the artist.
And then you're going to find something to distract you. All of a sudden you need to like hot glue that thing in the corner.
For sure. You have to finish the strap no matter what. You have to finish that strap. You cannot stop until you finish. Oh my gosh.
Do it.
Wow, that is so okay. We need to have a separate episode on the STAR method, you guys, because we need Hannah to diagnose us. That is fascinating.
I know. It is. I've been studying the mom brain for over 20 years.
Yes. Okay. This is so awesome. We need to have a repeat guest episode.
Okay,
I am 2/3 through the book, you guys, and when I finish the book, we will have her back. But you have some really cool offers for us, Hannah. So I want to send you guys to learn even more about a mom fog with Hannah. Tell us about them.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a mom brain makeover.
Yes.
So I poured all this stuff. So this is where I talk about like the module 1. We're going to really learn about your brain, what's really going on there. And then we learn how to, module 2 is on how to interrupt it. Module 3 is on how to imagine. Module 4 is how to implement. And module 5 is this other 4th thing, integrate, which I can't even get into now. Like you have to do those first 3 and then you can really start to integrate into your life and start to get, months and years down the road. That's why these moms who've worked with me, like for years, they're like, oh, my life has totally changed and now things happen on autopilot. Mm-hmm. And so the whole makeover really is designed for you, the woman with mom brain. So if, like budgets haven't worked, diets haven't worked, remember, it's not you, it's the program was not designed to work with your mom brain. So it doesn't just help you make over your mom brain. It's designed to work with your mom brain while you're going through it as well. So it maintains your attention. You have quick, execution. But here's the cool thing. When you get mom brain, and it's like less than $300 like for the whole module. And I can't even go into it now. You have the diet that goes with it, all the supplements, all the bonuses. But if you like share it with someone and do it with them, you can get all that money back. You get a license to sell it too for the same price, and you get all of that. None comes to me.
Guys, listen.
None goes to you.
Yeah.
It all comes back to the person because I wanted to help moms, I had such a hard time financially. I mean, we're talking, yeah, I shared a little bit about it, but it was so hard. I didn't know how to make money with my mom brain. I tried 7 home businesses, Rebecca. I failed at all of them because it wasn't designed to work with my mom brain. So I'm like, what if I could help moms, number one, overcome that stress and work with their mom brain? And number two, overcome the stress around finances as well. So what if we could do all that? So you have a link. We're going to make sure you have that link. And we're going to, like, I don't know where you put it, but make sure they
We'll put it in the show notes. We'll put it in the show notes,
Okay,
guys, and then
cool.
watch our Instagram and our Facebook. We'll be putting it there so that you can share this with your friends.
Yeah. Like my marketing team was like, but we won't make any money. I'm like, our goal is, number one, we call ourselves the happier company because our goal is to make happier moms.
Yes.
Happier moms have happier families, and happier families make a happier world. So let's just help moms. Let's just do that. It's always going to come back to you.
I 1,000% agree. In our pre-interview chat, listeners, I was like, yes, this is what we need to do, because we have similar missions in that I want people to believe that when you create something, you have joy, and that God put these dreams and these roles and these stages purposely, because he's like, I'm choosing you to do this. And when we begin to believe what the world is telling us that we can't, or that we have to limit it, or that the mom brain is going to have to wait until they're in their 30s, it's not going to do like that. So I love that you're lining us up to start correcting some of that. I can't imagine the amount of creative ideas that are going to come when you keep laying this out there, and when we start seeing things change for the better with our mom brains, working alongside them. Like you said, it's not like there's a cure, but we work alongside of it to create the things that he's laid on your heart. That is one awesome mission, Hannah.
Like if I had this when I was in my 20s and my kids were little, and I mean, we have one shot at this. You have one shot. I read a stat the other day that 90% of the time we will ever spend with our child will happen before they're 12. We have one shot at this. And if you're going to still keep trying to figure it out and still keep staying stressed out when there is a solution for you, now that's on you. You were led here for a reason. I believe the people who are listening to this could be an answer to what they've been praying over, but to be able to do this and to change your life literally overnight. This can change your life overnight. And when you change, you take your whole family with you, because we know if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So let's make happier moms. And I just want my kids to remember their childhood as a happy time where their mom was like kicking butt, and taking life by the horns and laughing. Like, when's the last time your kids heard you laugh?
Oh, yeah.
Sing and dance throughout the house. Like, this is time to bring the joy back. You're doing it not just for you. Like, this mom brain makeover is not just for you. This is for your children.
Legacies to come. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so make sure to check out the show notes. We'll also be putting it on our Instagram and our Facebook and within our email newsletter so that we can work alongside Hannah with our mom brains and getting them drastically made over. I can't wait to see some of the results. So make sure to stay tuned on our social media so we can see what's working for everybody. Until next time, encouragers, we got this because he's got us. Thank you so much, Hannah. Thanks so much for tuning in. If the Encourager podcast has helped or encouraged you in any way, please subscribe to the show and leave a 5-star review. And then help us spread the message of encouragement and hope by sharing the podcast with others. Ready to bring more organization and joy into your life? The Encourager Academy helps you harmonize your home and work life through our online course and coaching programs. Our 5-system approach, me, food, family, work, and home, tackles your biggest obstacles, offering lifetime access to video lessons and guided worksheets. Learn at your own pace with practical tools and strategies. Enroll now at encourageracademy.com and use code WeGotThis for $50 off. Are you ready to finally create systems that help you thrive in both home and work life? Join my 10-week coaching cohort designed for busy women like you. Together, we'll create customized, foolproof systems for managing your home, business, and personal life with joy and purpose. With live coaching, practical tools, and a supportive community, you'll leave feeling organized, confident, and in control. Don't wait. Spots are limited to 10 women. Visit encouragerpodcast.com to apply.
Looking for inspiration and uplifting stories of faith? Welcome to the Jesus Calling Stories of Faith podcast, now available on Life Audio. Join us each week for heartfelt conversations and personal stories from people from all walks of life that will inspire you and lift your spirit. Whether you're seeking comfort, motivation, or just a moment of peace, the Jesus Calling Stories of Faith podcast offers a beautiful reminder of faith and hope. Listen to the Jesus Calling Stories of Faith podcast on lifeaudio.com or wherever you find your podcasts.